ready.
So this is probably a green heron hatchling. It's tiny, so it doesn't have the big feet like a night heron would or a great blue heron would. And it was found in Hampton a couple of days ago. It's been here. It's been eating pretty well. And so basically what I have to do is I have to hand feed it. Whereas the parents would come over top of it and basically regurgitate food in its mouth or near it, I have to actually, until he gets the hang of it, open his beak and put the food in. So it looks a little invasive, but once he realizes he's getting fed, then he's usually fine.
He looks like a cotton ball right now.
He does. He's still got an egg tooth right there. Can you see it?
Yes.
Kind of. It's kind of hard to see. All right, buddy. Yeah, I know. Come on. It's hard to do because the fingernails are in. So basically, I'm gently trying to open his beak to put this in, since he doesn't realize that I'm not going to regurgitate it for him.
So would Mom have to open his beak or just...
No. See, he's trying to... There he goes.
There we go.
There he goes. See, so after a day and a half of doing that, he's finally getting the hang of, if the hand's there, he's going to get fed. And then it has to go down that long neck. And they typically don't have much of a crop like some other birds do, so once his stomach is filled, then he's done. Yeah, right.
So it kind of goes straight down to his stomach?
Yeah. And so basically, once he gets the hang of this, then what we do is we try and get him to start self-feeding, which won't take that long for him to pick it up. He just has to be able to see better. And then hand feeding will be finished. He'll be eating on his own, basically. And we'll just make food available to him constantly.
How many times a day do you have to feed him?
This guy gets fed probably every 2 hours. The mink get fed every 3 hours. He gets fed every 2 hours. He is doing much better with the eating since he's in the incubator. Well, don't eat the towel. You got the towel, dude.
And that's him that we're hearing squeak, right?
That is him. That's a call to the parents. It's right there. As he gets older, the noise gets louder.
And the beak gets sharper?
And the beak gets a little sharper, yeah. Fortunately, these things aren't as dangerous as like a great blue heron with a 6 to 8 inch beak. These guys are small birds. They're one of the smallest heron species in the area. Are you going to pick it up? If you pick it up, it'd be awesome.
So as an adult, what kind of things will he eat?
They eat crustaceans, fish, small fish, insects, pretty much anything that moves in front of them.
I've seen some fun videos of herons fishing.
Yes, this is one species that actually uses tools. They'll use bread to lure fish in. They'll use sticks, leaves, that kind of thing. Dude, you almost had it.
Smart enough to use tools, but right now looks very, very vulnerable.
Yeah, he is definitely vulnerable. If he'd have been left out that night, he'd have been eaten by somebody. Do you imagine having a rookery of these in your yard? Evidently where he came from, there's a rookery.
So lots of them.
Lots of them. And from what I was told, some people like them and some people don't.
There's an area near me where a lot of the egrets like to hang out, and people have cut down their trees.
Yes. The big thing with these kind of guys that live in the rookeries and stuff like that is people do that. Habitat destruction is one of the number one reasons why there's been a decrease in these guys. They're still pretty prevalent in the area, but finding good trees to nest in and that kind of thing is getting kind of hard. What's the matter? You learned how to do it, now you forgot? There you go.
When we post this one, we'll have to post a picture of an adult to
Yeah.
show the difference, because they look completely different as adults.
Yeah, they're
They do.
beautiful. Dang, he poked it. He poked it. Get it. There you go. Poke it again. Yeah, not that towel.
And how long will you likely have him in care?
Till he's fully feathered and able to fly, which will be about a couple of months.
And at that point, you'll be feeding him crustaceans and fish?
Fish, typically fish, but yeah. Anything we can get in the minnow traps. Come on, dude.
So your dinner plan is going to get more expensive as you get older, buddy.
Yep. We do run minnow traps. I live on the Elizabeth River, so we do run minnow traps, but a lot of times with the amount of fish eaters that we get in, it's not nearly enough minnows for these little guys, as well as the egrets and the herons and the bigger herons and stuff that we get in.
So if somebody is a fisher person, if they like fishing here, and they would like to donate fish, is that something that you can accept?
Absolutely. We can accept any size fish. If anybody goes fishing and has bait fish that they don't use, they can donate those. We can freeze them and use them later. We can use whole fish. We typically don't use fillets for anybody because fillet, the birds need the bones and everything like that. So we usually feed whole prey. There's a few instances where we might use fillets, but it's really not enough for us to warrant getting fillets in.
Save those for the people.
Exactly. Come on, buddy. Let's get some more. I know. There you go.
Yeah.
Look at his little teeny wings. Like a little pterodactyl.
When you see a baby bird like this, it's very easy, I think, to see how they descended from dinosaurs.
Yes, absolutely.
Little chicken nuggets.
Come on, bird. You wanna try it? It's right here. You're not the brightest light on the tree.
Yet. We'll have hope for him.
Well, anybody that can use tools has got to get braided sometime. Good. Here, it's right here. Misty face. This is one of the most time-consuming things to do, is because you don't want to force them to eat, but you want them to eat on their own terms. But you also got to make sure they get the right amount of nutrition.
Right. This is 8 minutes now that you've spent giving him a couple of bites of food.
Exactly. Whereas the mink was pretty easy. The minks were 4 minutes giving them their food and they went at it. This is a lot more time consuming. So imagine this times 10 if we get a bunch of them in. If there were, God forbid, a storm or something and the rookery came down. If these guys are found on the ground, the parents do not come down to feed them. So every heron or egret that is found on the ground needs to come in care with a rehabber as soon as possible. Trying to put them back in the nest is typically hard. These birds nest in trees up to 50 feet, depending on the species of birds. Egrets will do 40 to 50 foot trees, and the night herons like to go about 12 to 16 feet up, and these little guys are usually in lower trees.
But still, not everybody has access to ways to get up
Yeah,
there.
and if it's a rookery, you don't happen to know exactly which nest it came from, and you can't put it back in somebody else's nest typically, because the rate of these guys picking on each other is pretty high.
So don't even attempt it. If you find one on the ground, just call a rehabber.
Exactly.
Now, some birds you can replace in the nest, right?
Yes, songbirds are really good about being able to replace them in the nest. I have actually done foster reuniting with like robins and that kind of thing in the past when I was doing songbirds. But some other birds that we're really lucky to do are raptors. Raptors will take back their babies within a couple of weeks of them coming down out of the tree. So if they have a small injury, that kind of thing, then we can definitely put them back with their parents. We have also been able to re-nest them with other families if their family is either no longer there or we just can't find a nest. We have replaced osprey into different nests, and the parents have taken over. You just need to make sure that you're not overcrowding the nest when you do it, and that the birds are the right age of doing it. If you take a fledgling osprey or eagle and you put them back in the nest as they're about ready to fly, when you go to put the other one back, a lot of times the ones in the nest still will jump, and then you just doubled your problem.
And again, osprey nests are not easily accessible for most people, so
Yes.
leave that to the people that have experience and the right tools to do that.
Are you full? I don't think so. I don't think you're full. Let's push that down. Let's push that food down. Push that old
I have
food.
to say, his feathers kind of look like my hair in the morning.
He is a cute little thing. The other ones that have bad hair days are night herons. Night herons are crazy looking as they get to be older. They have these really big feathers on top of their heads. Are you done? I think you're done.
All right, very cool little guy.
Back in the incubator, buddy.